Right, folks, welcome back to the Dark Artisan podcast. I believe this is episode 4. And joining me once again, as ever, my right-hand man, Mr. Grant Fraser.
Hello there.
So, busy week for Games Workshop.
Yeah.
Very, very busy. So, there's a whole host of things that have been announced since we last done the podcast that we're going to cover in this episode. One of which is Space Marines and Necrons.
Yeah, there's a big box of them came out last weekend as well.
Yeah, there was. And if that wasn't enough, there's even more coming out.
Was it last weekend?
I've had mine for like 6 weeks. I don't know.
Was it 2 weeks ago? Oh, I don't know.
25th that came out? Yeah, so it was like 9 days ago.
Yeah.
9-10 days ago. Wow. That's crazy. And yours truly got his models featured on the reveal stream.
Yes, I was watching along with that.
I was very, very happy with that. And they even put an article on the community page as well. And the actual thumbnail for it even had my Necrons on. I was like, yes!
Now you won't moan when you're painting all that Rackard flash.
I hate painting my Necrons. I hate it. So yeah, there's a whole host of things coming out for Space Marines and Necrons. Obviously they revealed the Codexes and stuff there, which we'll get to a little bit later. The other reveal that they've surprised, and I think this is because of the leaks, is Blood Bowl.
Yeah, that's a bit of a came out of left field a bit. I wasn't really expecting.
No pun intended,
eh? Really. Yeah, well, gotta try.
Yeah.
I play Blood Bowl. I played the video game, but the problem is I don't understand Blood Bowl or American football.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really mix well for me.
I
know a lot of people love that game system.
You've got to put time into Blood Bowl to learn it.
Yeah.
You've got to think like a chess player. You've got to be thinking 3-4 moves ahead all the time.
Yeah, I just can't do that. That's too much like work.
Yeah.
I mean, the army I'm painting is entirely close combat, so I can just run forward.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of where my brain's at right now.
Yeah. So yeah, it looks like there's some new models included in there. It looks like it's an Orc and Goblin team and a new human team.
The human models are really nice.
Yeah.
I really like them.
They did some close-up images on the community page as well, which look pretty cool.
They were tasty. Just kind of annoys me that we've got that, but we're still stuck with old 8th edition Fantasy Empire sculpts for Cities of Sigmar. But,
yeah.
I know these are technically Empire because Blood Bowl is the old world and that, but it just shows that maybe we could have had something cooler for cities. But
I know.
I'll stop moaning about it at some point.
So, behind all of that, they'd released a Warhammer Underworlds roadmap, which we did touch on briefly last time. Nothing else has been mentioned other than we're going to get the Iron Jaws and the Daughters of Cain and possibly the new edition of Underworlds in August.
It just feels like yesterday Beastgrave came out.
I know. I know.
I don't play Underworlds. I've had a demo game and I did really enjoy it.
Yeah, same. I did a review of it.
I've just never picked it up.
Yeah. I had a demo game with it. I did a review game with Steve, and I did enjoy it. It's just a case of, because I've got so much else going on with the channel, I simply didn't have the time to put into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed it.
There's an online PC version on Steam I think you can buy. It's supposed to be a really good adaptation of it as well.
Yeah.
I've heard good things about that.
So we know that's coming in August. Now, bearing in mind what they've just done on Sunday is by the way, here's your 40k starter set that's not Indomitus.
Because Indomitus isn't a starter set, we've got to remember this.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what is in the sets? I've looked at the pictures, and someone please correct me if I get this wrong, but in the I can't even remember the name of it now. The initial, the smaller box set, which
the recruit box.
Yep, is 5 intercessors and the lieutenant, and then you get I want to say the Royal Warden, and
that's right.
10 warriors and 3 scarabs.
Yeah.
That's a nice start. It is. It's a pretty nice start. It's a little bit more pricey than what the other starter sets have been. This is $32.50, but we know, of course, GW have had a price hike. Let's face it, it's not as if 80 million profit during a global pandemic is enough. Is it?
I think as well, though, the thing to bear in mind with this is the old starter set was what, like
25.
Yeah, but it was all those easy build kits. It was like 3 Marines, and then like 3 Plague Bearers, and like the very basic one was like 4 Poxwalkers and stuff like that. It was
it was I think it was 6 Poxwalkers, 3 Plague Marines, 3 Intercessors, 3 Reavers.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was so everything was a stupid size. It didn't really translate into full gameplay.
Yeah.
Here, you're paying a little bit more, less than a 10 or more though, and you're getting full squads.
Yeah.
So for me, I think the price hike is worth it, based on how well you can build upon it. Whereas I don't feel you could really build upon the old basic starter sets. Like, same with Sigmar with Tempest of Souls. It's the same thing. It's odd numbers. You can't really do anything.
So was, especially with me building me Nighthaunt, that screwed me over, and I think I had 10 Glaive Wraith Stalkers, and I had to convert them 2 of them, because they come in squads of 4. I had to convert 2 of them into Grimghast Reapers.
Yep.
Which was silly.
And then like your Evocators come in units of 3, come in a box of 3 and stuff. Yeah, it's one thing that I really don't like when Games Workshop do is the odd squad sizes.
And you got 5 Castigators when they come in 3s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that unit still stands as my biggest disappointment from that box. I was so hyped for that when they revealed them.
Yeah.
And they're just not good. I mean, to be fair, they're seeing play now. They've dropped in points a bit. There is a space for them now, but they just never quite lived up to the hype behind them, sadly.
Yeah. So then the second box that you've got is the Elite box, which comes with 5 Intercessors, 3 Outriders, and the Captain. And then on the Necron side, it comes with the Scorpec Destroyers, 10 Warriors and 3 Scarabs, because that's 1 sprue, and the Overlord. Now, for me, I want that box because Outriders, Intercessors, Scorpec Destroyers.
Yeah, I think the Scorpec Destroyers are maybe my favourite models coming out of this.
I've just built 3 more at work today, now I've got 6, but I would happily take 9. If you can run them in a squad of 6 or 9, I'm over the moon.
I think the more time I've spent looking at the new models and stuff like that, despite the fact I have about 3,000 points of unbuilt Space Marines, I kind of just want to crack on and get into the Necrons and build them up first.
Yeah, the new Necron Warriors are so nice to build in comparison to the old ones as well.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had a Necron army since 7th, so it'll be a fine kind of a return, but a change of pace as well. And the kits were pretty dated then, so I'm glad they've kind of gone back and redone the ones that really weren't holding up.
Absolutely. In both of these box sets, you do get a player mat. The box turns over to become essentially a piece of terrain. You get your dice, you get your tape measures, you get your booklet with it, which has your building instructions. It has the war scrolls for the models that are included, and I think it tells you basically how to play.
Yeah, I think there's like some basic missions and stuff like that as well in it, I think.
Yeah.
Or is that just the command version that's got that?
No, not that. I don't think so. I think they are included. The command version is the elite version. You don't get any extra models, but what you do get is the new pack of terrain, which is the new pipes with the new vent thing. You get the I can't remember what it's called, but it's like the new industrial version of the ruins, which I still haven't actually picked up, and I wouldn't mind a set of. You get that as well, and you get a smaller rule book. So it's not as big as the core book that comes with Indomitus. It's 182 pages, which I think is just the rules.
Yeah, and it is a nice hardback book.
Yeah.
It's also worth mentioning the playmat that comes with that is actually cardboard and not paper like the other two.
Right.
So it is a much more viable board.
However, the price for the Elite is $65, and the price for the Commander is $105.
Yeah.
That feels a lot for a starter set.
I think it feels a lot, especially when we've just had Indominus,
Yes.
which at 125 for everything you got in there is incredible. They did make a point that it was an incredible deal, but I think it makes these ones look a lot weaker by comparison.
Especially, like, I only want one elite box, right? Because
Yeah.
I only want I only really want the Outriders and the Score Pack. So by the time you go through, like, Battlebunk, I think Justin offers like 15% off, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you were looking at getting it for like 50, 55, probably something like that.
Yeah, yeah. So it's still pretty decent if you consider that's like, what, 27.50. Realistically, them bikes, when them bikes come out, them bikes are going to be 35 or 40 quid.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
The Score Packs
100%.
will be 35 easily.
Yeah.
More intercessors. I'm not going to snuff my nose up at for Blood Angels.
The Warriors will be what? Probably 30.
32.50, I reckon.
Yeah.
A lot of the new stuff is more expensive than what.
But we're looking at that £30, roughly £30 price point.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
for them.
Absolutely.
So they're still great deals, no matter which way you look at them. But I agree, I was expecting to be a little bit cheaper.
Yeah, 65. It's a little too much. I certainly wouldn't buy it from GW directly, but through an FLGS, I think, with their discount, it's probably worth picking up. If you are new to the game, or you do really want, or you missed Indomitus even, the command box is not bad. It's
what
just...
I really like with the command box is the fact it's got terrain in it.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that so many people miss when they start this hobby.
Yeah.
Especially if they're playing at home, they don't have terrain. And honestly, I really moved away from 40k when there was the fucking realm of the bowling balls and everything was just flat and there was maybe 2 or 3 hills and everything was just... It was just like a playing field, you just shot everybody and you moved off. Tables need heaps of terrain, I feel. And I think when you look at the terrain set up on that board it's set up on the picture, that looks a solid, cozy amount of terrain that's going to make you play around it and not just ignore it while you're playing the game.
To be honest, I have that problem when I set up tables for Sigmar because I'm so used to setting up for 40k. And Lucy goes, "You've got too much terrain." Sorry.
I mean, I'd rather always rather have too much than too little.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, there's those. Now those are coming out next week.
Yes.
The other thing that we've been told is obviously the rest of the Beastgrave stuff is coming August. So if we look at all of that, that's probably, if you've got the 2 new warbands, the Iron Jaws and the Daughters, that's probably a single week release because you'll have the dice, the cards, and whatever else.
There's another warband as well, though. There's another, like, Dark Elf warband with, like, the snake person. It's not the Daughters one.
Yeah, there is Daughters.
Is that Daughters? I thought there's another one.
No. So there's a Daughters Warcry warband as well.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm playing.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, the one, because there's one that looks like the assassin and one that looks like the snake. That
fiery Warcry warband which got shown months ago.
Oh god, yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, because both them and the Spire Tyrants are actually mentioned lore-wise in the core Warcry book.
And it's been a year since that come out now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they previewed them in April, didn't they?
Never played it.
It's an okay game. It's an okay game.
I mean, I pretty much bought it for the terrain.
Yeah. I didn't hate it. It's just, again, it's one of them things where how much time do I put into this when I need to do like full battle reports?
Yeah, I think for me, if I was pushed into a skirmish game like that, I would probably rather either play Necromunda or find an old Hammer group and play old school more time.
Yeah.
Because that was just the best.
Yeah. So obviously, some of those are due to come out in August. I don't know whether the Warcry stuff is due out in August, but if they're releasing Beastgrave, it kind of makes sense to do it around the same time.
Yeah, I would say.
Going into September, we have been told that the Lumineth stuff will be coming in September.
Yeah.
And me and Grant were discussing this before we started recording as well. I think we counted, was there 11, 12 units in total? If you count the big horse guy or the big stone dwarven thing as one model, because of, even though it's like 3 versions.
Yeah,
I think there's like...
it's something like that, especially if they do release the split up versions of the units from the battle box thing they put out recently.
Yeah.
Then it is going to be looking at around about the 10 unit mark, I think.
But then obviously if you count the dice, the cards, the battle tome and stuff like that, and then the endless spells, you're probably looking at a 3-week release window.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they, unless they really want to just scoosh it out quicker, they could do it in 2.
They should, because I mean, realistically, are they playing catch up with the release schedule?
Well, we know they are.
Well, are they though? Are they? That is the question, because the Sons of Behemat are in the General's Handbook.
Yeah, which means we should have had them before we got the handbook, and we haven't.
Exactly.
So they must be trying to catch up.
But I think what they've done is they've still pushed Indomitus out when it was supposed to come out, because if you look what they did, as soon as they start doing new releases, I think they released the last 3 Psychic Awakening books in the space of 4 or 5 weeks.
So I saw this on Twitter. Somebody posted up on Twitter. In fact, I've not opened my Indomitus box, but apparently, if you open it up, there's a card inside, or it was maybe on the novel teaser that you get. You get the first chapter of Indomitus, and it says on there somewhere coming in July. So Indomitus was a little bit late then, but I think they tried to keep it as close to its original date as they could.
Exactly. So they pushed Sigma
like a month
back
later. So yeah,
it's just if the Lumineth is a 3-week release window. We know the Necron and the Spaceman Codex is coming in October,
and that's going to be a huge month. There's so many kits coming.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk through the number of them soon, but
yeah,
that's going to be a full month of releases for Necrons and Space Marines. It's just
not 6 weeks. I think 6 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. So that takes us into November, which is when they start doing the Christmas boxes and stuff.
Yeah.
So when are we going to get Sons of Behemat?
This week.
I wish. Do you know what? Actually, that really wouldn't surprise me if he's your last lot of 40k. By the way, he's your Sons of Behemat.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think they kind of have to, because people are sick of 40k though. And folk have been, since they revealed the Giants, folk were excited for it, because it's so different, it's so unique, and the models are so gorgeous that they just have to maybe. Hopefully they've thought it through and been like, right, okay, we'll get this out. That'll tide over the AOS crowd until they get to Lumineth. I think that's 2 very different fan brackets within AOS. There's a Lumineth, people waiting for Lumineth, and people waiting for the Giants. I don't think there's much crossover in that.
If Lumineth is September, right?
Yeah.
It would make... The problem is, right, we're already halfway through August by the time you look at the releases, because you can only pre-order those new boxes on Saturday, which means they're out the week after. Which means that next week they're going to then announce, oh, by the way, here's the Beastgrave stuff.
Yeah.
Right? I'm actually just going to look at the calendar now.
What's going to be what I think is going to be really salty for people is if we end up with the Lumineth book, the full Lumineth release, before we get Sons of Behemat, when Sons of Behemat are in the General's Handbook and Lumineth aren't.
Lumineth aren't in?
No, the Codex hasn't got... The Battle Tome hasn't got a full release, so it shouldn't be in.
I'm sure it's in.
But yeah, it's in the Battle Box, but that's not a proper release.
No, I'm sure it's in the General's Handbook.
Is it?
Well, mine's over there. I'll go and have a look in a bit. But either way...
the 2019 one up, so sure shit, isn't it that? Right, here we go.
But either way, if you look at the release dates, right, then new starter boxes...
No, you're right. You are right. I just managed to flick it open to that page exactly.
So the new boxes will come out on the 15th, which means something else goes up for pre-order on the 15th, right? That leaves you with the 22nd and the 29th as release dates in August.
I think we're going to get Behemat this
I don't think we are. The Beastgrave stuff will come out then, unless they are holding back the new version and just going to get the new warbands out to let people play them for a little bit.
But you could do the warbands and the new version in 1 week.
Yeah, but the warbands
get
are
caught
designed
up.
for the old version.
Right. Okay then. So yeah. So I would ideally, I think what we should get then is warbands and Sons of Behemoth to finish off August. September, Lumineth. Then you could put
How
the
many
new version of the. In most, you're going to be safe. At the very most, you're looking at 2-3 weeks of Lumineth, right?
You've got
So you
four,
could even
four
split-
release dates in September.
So you could have 2 or 3 of them taken up by Lumineth, and then put out the new version of Underworlds before it goes into 40k.
Yeah.
So you could kind of spread out like that. So we have, like, we've had a 40k starters, then we get, say, either Behemoth or the Underworld's warbands. Then the next week we get the other option. Then after that we get Lumineth. Then we get the new Underworld's edition. Then we go hard into 40k for about 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I think the fairest way to play it out, maybe?
It would be nice if it was, but
Oh, definitely.
just it's frustrating because they're an army that I really, really want to get hold of, and now we're
Yeah.
4 months later since when they showed them,
Yeah, I mean,
and it wasn't even just a little tease. It was a full. Here's the model. This is how we've sculpted it. This is what we've done. This is the parts that are included on it. Like that was ready for release.
And then we've also seen the points. We can make the guess that they're about the size of a knight comfortably now at 500 points a model. And based on the size of the kit, it looks like we're probably going to be like, this is going to be the AOS knights. And I can't wait to see what people do with these models either. Like, I don't personally want to collect them, but I want to see what people do with them.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's frustrating that they haven't released them.
Need to pick a color for this squad of orcs to be their tattoo, warpaint color, and hairband color.
Red,
I've already got a red cavalry unit, but it
Purple.
might end up being. My other more boys are like pink, so I've just done them.
green.
Purple unit of savage orcs are green. I'm going to start doubling up in college.
So yeah, that takes us till October now.
Yeah.
So I still think the 40k release is not back on track entirely, right? Because in the Minotaurum Field Manual with the points in, it has Indomitus box points, and it has the chaplain on bike, it has the ATV and the turret. It's also got the Doomwalker and the points for the destroyers. So I think they should be coming out around the same time as these new starter sets. So I wouldn't be surprised if they slide that in somewhere, Grant.
So do we think then, based on what normally comes out alongside a starter set, do we think the ATV is a new easy build kit?
Yes, because the old easy build kits have been
Kits are
taken
being
down.
retired.
Yeah.
So that and the Fire Strike turret could be easy build.
I wouldn't be surprised if
And
the
then-
chaplain is either, like what Reichner is for.
Well, yeah, he's just a monopose hero, so yeah, he'll be that kind of kit. And then on the Necron side, you'll have whatever he said they just did the what do you call it? Yeah, the Destroyer dude and stuff could be their easy build options.
Isn't there still some Blood Bowl teams not out yet? Because didn't they show off the Snotling teams at the same time as the new Warcry warbands as well?
Oh, they did. You're right. Yeah. Everything's just taking a hit, and everything's in a bit of a mess.
But I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, right? If we get them easy build kits the week after or next week.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
I mean,
the last week of August is going to be the them Warcry warbands. Not the Warcry, the Beastgrave warbands. And then I genuinely think that'll be it. Then we'll move over to Lumineth.
So you don't think we're going to get giants soon?
I struggle to see where they're going to fit in.
Unless they keep those easy build kits back for if they're easy build kits like the ATV and that, unless they keep them back for the Codex releases. Or the week before the Codex releases or something like that as a primer to get, here we go, Codexes are coming, here's these you should have got when the box set came out, next week Codexes, and then we go. But I think unless we get the Giants in the next 2 weeks, it's like November.
Which is a really, really big shame.
Yeah.
Of course, the Blood Bowl team might not come out until the new edition actually comes out.
Well, it could be. There's no saying it. That was maybe always the plan. We just don't know. The thing is, with all this Warcry releases and stuff, I've always maintained that you could release the Warcry stuff alongside the Giants, for example. It doesn't. The Warcry stuff and the Underworld stuff doesn't necessarily need its own week when we're trying to get caught up. Yes, when we've got a full release schedule, it's great to have its own week. But when we're working behind the schedule, I think you could slide in.
They could release the Warcry and the Behemoth stuff together, right? Because realistically, the people that play Sigmar that want the Giants, probably not that many of them play the Warcry stuff.
And
it's two very different target audiences. You've got your skirmish board game, you've got your a 2,000 point game with fucking Giants, man.
I mean, I think as well, like on Twitter, I've seen so many people building the Ale Guzzler kits, and they've got like 8 of them already. So folk are basically have half built these armies already. They just need the book.
I've got 3 Ale Guzzlers ready to go.
Yeah, this is the thing. So it's not even like we need that much. So I think they could release it alongside something else, and folk are still going to go nuts for it because it's not like they're like, oh well, I'll need to start this army, so I'll wait. It's like I've already built half my army. I just need the book and the big dudes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But hey ho.
On to the subject of the releases for Space Marines and Necrons. Now, we have seen some of the rules for the Firestrike turret, the ATV Invader. We've seen rules for the what they call the Destroyers and the Doom Walker, I think it was called.
Yeah, is that the version of the Reanimator with the gun?
Yes, with the Doomsday cannon on the top.
Yeah.
So, 2 seconds. Where are we at? So the Firestrike servo turret, I don't think there's anything too untowards in this. It's okay.
No.
Movement of 3 inches, fine.
Which makes sense. It is a emplaced gun.
Weapon skill 3+, ballistic skill 2+.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's a Tech Marine. Tech Marines don't normally hit on 2s, but whatever. Strength 4, toughness 5, 5 wounds, 2 attacks. It's got a 2-up save grant.
Yeah, but have you seen this slab of metal that's protecting the gunner? Like, it's a pretty solid thing.
Yeah.
So the way to look at it is, aside from the changes to Storm Shields, what else from Primaris line has a 2-up save?
Nothing.
Because we don't have Terminator armor anymore. We have Gravis armor now, which adds toughness instead of armor save. So there's not like there's too much 2-up saves going about for Primaris now.
No.
So it's not a big deal, I don't think.
No.
It's a game-breaking unit.
It's got a twin accelerator auto cannon or a twin las Talon. It's heavy.
Twin accelerator auto cannon for me. That's what I think you put on it.
You what?
I think you put the accelerator auto cannon.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's 6 shots at range 40 hits, strength 7, -1, 2 damage. It's a standard auto cannon.
Because the thing only moves 3, so it's not going to get in range of the last Talon for half the game.
No. The good thing is, though, it's not an infantry unit, which means it doesn't suffer the penalty to moving and firing.
No. So, you've always got that 3 inches you can add on.
Way. The ATV Invader. It doesn't... It looks like each of these can go up to 3 models, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Invader moves 14 like the bikes. It's toughness 5 like the bikes. It's got 8 wounds. 8.
Well, it's chunky.
4 attacks, leadership 7, 3-up save. Every model is equipped with a bolt pistol. It just says bolt pistol, so I don't know if it's just 1 or whether it has 2. Well, it does say 1, so probably 1. An onslaught Gatling cannon and a twin auto bolt rifle.
The auto bolt rifle is interesting because I did wonder if we were going to get more options for the bikes to see if they could take auto bolt rifles or bolt rifles.
Well, it doesn't make that much sense. Why are they giving it an assault weapon, right? Although maybe a flat 6 shots is better than, but it's not infantry, so it would still benefit from. It's a biker, so it would still benefit from bolt of discipline. So
yeah, it's more shots.
It's more shots, less range, less AP.
The range doesn't really matter as much on a bike platform, I would argue.
Yeah,
because you've got the speed to compensate. The AP is an issue to an extent.
Mm-hmm. But it can.
You're not buying it for that gun. You're buying it for the big gun on the back,
which is either an onslaught Gatling cannon, which is
nothing's changed, has it? It's still the same.
Strength 5 -1 damage.
Yeah.
But the interesting one, the multi-melter.
With a couple of big changes to the multi-melter. I've just noticed the second change. So it's now heavy 2 instead of 1, which is good. And it's not a twin-linked multi-melter either. So it's not like
No.
It is just a multi-melter, that's the thing. So I'm guessing this could be a sign of all multi-melters are getting this?
Probably. However, when an attack made with this weapon hits a target that is within half range, that attack has a damage characteristic of D6 plus 2, not roll 2d6 and pick the highest. So basically, it's minimum 3 damage, maximum 8.
Yeah.
That's horrendous!
That's so much better. So much better.
But
it's 2 shots, so you could knock out 16 damage out of the thing.
But Eradicators have melter assault rifles. Now, they still have the rule you roll 2d6 and pick the highest. But bear in mind that is just the campaign book. Not the Codex.
I mean, we saw Eliminators changed between the Vanguard release and the Codex, so
yeah,
maybe we'll see the same here.
Yeah,
because they're a little bit good just now, Eradicators.
Well, see, they are good, but they are one shot. But obviously, they're 2 shots because you're
always going to fire the same time.
Yeah, of course,
so pretty much always going to be 2 shots.
But would you rather roll 2d6, pick the highest damage, or would you rather d6 plus 2? Personally, I'd rather d6 plus 2.
But you're talking about how much points is the bike? We don't know, do we?
Yes, because they're in the field manual, which I don't, which is over there. I don't know.
It would depend on the points between them, but even if you'd have to get 3 bikes to get the same number of shots that you do with the Eradicator squad.
Yeah.
And at that point, I would take 3 bikes. But if you're looking at maybe 1 bike or 2 bikes versus the Eradicator squad, then it's a much harder choice, I feel.
Right, so it's 85
but the
points.
Bikes are more mobile. So.
It's 85 points with a multi-melter.
Right, and how much are you not like 90 points for a squad of Eradicators? Or
120.
Yeah, so you're not even getting 2 bikes for the squad of Eradicators.
Nah.
So yeah. You're looking at Eradicators then, really, aren't you, if we're honest?
Absolutely. Yeah, so that's the Space Marine stuff that's been leaked. The Necron stuff, I haven't got them in front of me, so hopefully Grant has. So the Doomsday, the Doom Walker, which is again one of the models that was rumoured to come out and has the points in the field manual listed under Indomitus release. So again, I think this is one of the. I think the ATV and the turret and the chaplain, I think they're going to come out as easy builds. I think the Doomwalker and the Destroyers might come out as easy builds.
Mm-hmm.
But the Destroyers, what changed with the Destroyers?
Oh, okay, different one. So Destroyers, let's just scrolly here. So the Locust Heavy Destroyers. So movement 8, weapon skill, ballistic skill 3+, strength 4, toughness 5, 4 wounds, 2 attacks, leadership 10, and a 3+ save.
Yeah.
1 to 3 models in the unit.
So
every model has a. Is that about the same?
No, you used to be able to take them up to 6.
Okay, so.
Sorry, what was the movement? 10?
8.
Okay. Weapon and ballistic skill 3.
Yep.
Strength 4.
Yep.
toughness 5. Did you
Yeah.
say 4 wounds?
4 wounds, yeah.
So they used to have 3.
Okay, so they've got an extra wound.
Yep. So, the guns are vastly different, though.
Yeah, so they come with the Gauss Destructor.
Before you go further into this, right, I think these are the replacements for destroyers and heavy destroyers.
Because I think it's going to be one unit now.
When you look at it, well, the destroyers are a funny one because they work kind of like attack bikes, whereas 1 in every 3 destroyers can be a heavy destroyer, or you can have a unit of heavy destroyers.
Okay, got you.
So, whereas obviously you could add an attack bike into a squad, or you could take an attack bike separately previously. So, yeah, I think this is the replacement. So, what are the stat lines for the guns?
So, the Gauss Destructor is 36-inch range, heavy 1, strength 10, minus 4 AP, and 3d3 damage.
That's horrendous.
Yeah.
But it's one shot.
Vehicle killer.
It's one shot. It's very much like what the heavy destroyers are now. The heavy destroyers, I think, are strength 9 at the minute, and it's just d6 damage.
So 3d3 is so good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because you're looking at minimum 3 damage, then maximum of 9 damage. Like.
But then, as we were just looking at earlier, the Space Marine bike could technically do 16.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I like it. But it's got another option, which is completely different. So it's also got the Enmatic Exterminator.
Yep.
Which is also 36-inch, but it's heavy 3d3, strength 7, minus 1 AP, 1 damage.
So that's vastly different to what they have at the moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is heavy 3, strength 6, minus 3, d3 damage.
Yeah.
So it feels like they've very clearly now separated them. One is your horde killer, or your elite killer. The other one is your tank killer.
Yeah.
And because you can mix and match the squads as you want, I think that's a very good shout. And plus, let's face it, right? They look so much better.
Oh yeah. The old ones, again, showing their age. One of the really old models. They just needed to. In fact, wasn't the heavy destroyers? They were still an upgrade kit, weren't they?
Yeah, they're a horrendous Finecast upgrade kit.
Oh, they still Finecast as well. I kind of thought
I have 3, and I bought them second hand, and thankfully they are all metal. Still not great, but they're metal.
But better. Remember when I tried to do my Emperor's Children with the Finecast upgrade kits for the Noise Marines?
Oh god,
they are unpleasant. They are unpleasant. I had like 20 or 30 to do. I never want to do that again.
Yeah, I don't blame you. So yeah, I think all of these are going to come out pretty soon, probably before October. But we've also got the Doomwalker.
Yes. So I'm assuming it's got a similar stats to the Reanimator in terms of its damage table.
I don't think the Reanimator. No, the Reanimator's only got like 6 wounds, I think.
Oh, okay. It starts with 12 wounds. I thought they were the similar kind of chassis they started.
They are, but I'm not sure why they've got such different stat lines. Okay. But the thing that hurts this though is the ballistic skill 4.
Yeah, that's not good. And heavy D6 shots, it's so unreliable.
Mate, do not talk to me about unreliable Doomsday Arcs.
I did just watch that battle report not that long ago.
and even at the Battle Bunker 9th edition party, I was playing against Ryan, one of my Patreons. He was using me Blood Angels, I was using me Necrons. I took the Doomsday Arc. Do you know what damage I did to an Impulsor?
1.
Yes. 1. And that was with a CP reroll to reroll the number of shots as well.
Oh no, it's hitting on 4s and D6 shots is just never worth it.
If it was 2 D3 shots,
then at least
I'd be over the moon with it.
Yeah, 2 D3 is so much better than.
And let's face it, right? That gun should be D6 minimum 3 damage.
Yeah,
it's no different to that thing on the stupid repulsor that the Space Marines have got. And let's face it, it's probably on par with the neutron laser from the AdMech.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Which is minimum 3 damage.
What I'm excited for is that new Space Marine tank with a twin quad heavy bolter and the twin onslaught cannon. The Gladius tank.
Yeah, I'm so glad I didn't buy the parts to convert a couple of impulsors now.
Yeah.
However, I'm a little bit concerned about the price.
Yeah.
An impulsor is 45 quid.
So you're probably looking at 55?
Yeah, and it's nowhere near the size of a Land Raider.
No. Which is a shame. Yeah, that's a shame.
So
it'd be nice if they moved the impulsor into a start collecting like the AdMech. Doom buggies.
Yeah.
10 intercessors, an impulsor, and I don't know, an apothecary or something for 60 quid.
You're never going to get that for 60 quid.
No, I know. It'd be nice though.
It would. It would be very nice. But
that's the problem I always have with transports is they're generally pretty cheap in the game. I always had this problem with rhinos. You always wanted a heap of rhinos, and they were 50 points back when I last played. But you're still looking at 30 quid a kit. So it's a huge discrepancy in points versus money.
Yeah.
But you want them for your army, so I always liked the idea, because they did for a while do a handful of bundles of troops plus transports.
Yeah.
One Christmas or something like that. I think that's a great idea. Something I'd like to see them do.
Yeah, because I think the Tyranid one was a Tervagon and Termagants, wasn't it?
Could have been, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
The Chaos, they've also had Chaos Rhino and some troops, and I think there's a Blood Angel specific one with the Blood Angels tactical squad that came out.
Yeah.
And a Rhino and stuff like that. And no, I always thought that was a great idea because you've because it's offsetting the cost of the transport a little bit.
Absolutely.
And you're getting a squad to put inside it straight away.
So in relation to that as well, obviously there's 3 versions of it. One is basically the Predator Annihilator, which is the one with all the las cannons. There's one with it's a twin onslaught cannon. It replaces the assault cannon very obviously. The fact that you can take multi-melters on the side is great. And I can't remember what the third one was like. The gun from the repulsor, wasn't it? Like the laser destroyer.
Yeah,
or something.
I think it was more of the jack of all trades version. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I am slightly concerned at the price of that, but what I'm also concerned at is the fact that they've rolled all of the chapters into the Space Marine Codex. Now, as a Blood Angel player, I do like parts of this because
I am going to say I think it's a great thing. But I'll let you go first as to why you don't like it, then I'll say why I do.
Okay. The reason I don't like it is because I'm worried that we're going to lose some of our flavour. We'll probably get a supplement, much like what all the other chapters have, which I'm totally fine with. If they did that with Blood Angels, I'd be over the moon. But there's so many Blood Angel units, and they are so different that I feel they still need their codex. But what I understand that they're doing it so that they're not leaving the other Marine chapters behind. And I am grateful for that.
That's the exact reason why I love it.
I am grateful for that. But I'm still not over the moon about it. How many Blood Angel players are going to rush out and buy Assault Centurions?
Well, there you go. You see, all this stuff's opened up to you now.
And then
I don't like the Assault Centurion models much.
As soon as the supplement drops, the supplement is going to go. You may take units from Codex Space Marines. You may not take X, Y, Z.
I don't think they'll do that. Because I can't see them saying no to anything.
Why?
Other than Black Templars.
We can't currently. In fact, right. I'm going to go on a Blood Angel rant here, and I'm sorry. Right, 7th edition Codex couldn't take Hunters, couldn't take Stalkers, couldn't take both versions of Centurions, can't take Thunderfire cannons, couldn't take Storm Talons, Storm Hawks, Landspeeder Storms, and any version of a Dreadnought that's not a plain Dreadnought or the Blood Angel specific ones.
Yeah, but you also got Deep Striking Land Raiders at one point.
That was 5th edition.
Oh, was it?
And I know this because when I started playing 7th, I had to use the 5th edition Codex. No. When Angel's Blade came out for 7th edition, I think it allowed us to take 1 or 2 of those, but not many.
Mm.
And then when the 8th edition Codex dropped, we could then all of a sudden take Hunters and Stalkers, Landspeeder Storms, and there was a 4th one that I can't remember, but we could take them. And I was like, oh, great, I haven't got any of them. I'm going to buy them now.
I think a lot of this, I think the reason they're going to give it to everybody is it's just going to clean everything up dramatically.
Oh, no, it is.
The issue is, it does mean that you're going to have some armies like Blood Angels, like Space Wolves, that will have a lot of unique units.
Mm-hmm.
So the vanilla stuff might feel a bit left out. The question is, how much of those unique units do you think are going to get reprimarised and are not carried over?
Death Company already have.
Yeah, so that's
your
first one.
You've got to face it, right? We're going to lose normal Jump Pack Death Company at some point. We will, because... And realistically,
it'll still be in this book. Like I think we said last podcast, this book will still have all the legacy stuff in it.
It'll still have all the. I think
one.
the next Space Marine Codex after this one will remove certainly Tactical, Assault, and Devastator Marines.
Yeah.
If Sternguard and Vanguard survive, I'll be surprised. But
I would like to see, instead of them surviving, the stratagem for veteran intercessors gets removed, and you can just take veteran intercessors as an elite choice.
Absolutely. That's why. That's where they're going with that. Of course it is. Yeah. Of course it is.
So then, you're going to get Primaris Sanguinary Guard, or do we just lose Sanguinary Guard as a unit?
If we lose them, that is a massive part of Blood Angels gone.
Mm-hmm.
We need it.
I think.
We need an equivalent unit, right? And the issue that I've got with what's happening at the minute is you're losing the flavour of the Blood Angels by taking away the jump packs from the Death Company intercessors.
Yeah.
You know.
But you've got to remember, jump packs still exist for Primaris. We've just never seen them in a close combat unit yet. Maybe that's where they'll get them.
Only Inceptors have them. Do you know what I would love to see? Death Company intercessors, right, with the chassis of a suppressor.
Oh yeah.
With the spring boots and the grav chutes.
Yeah. Again, there's no reason why that can't happen for a Blood Angels kit. There's no reason why they can't go down that road, because they know folk will want that, and everyone already owns like 20 Assault Death Company with jump packs. But if you go, here you go, here's a new kit with jumpy intercessors, they go, okay, let's all go buy that. So it's
if you give Assault intercessors the boots and grav chutes from a suppressor, Jesus Christ, I would chuck my old Death Company in the bin for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would come, just because I think GW don't want to keep selling these old scale Marines.
No.
So they know that you have to replace them with something. And I was thinking Inceptors, but they've got Gravis armor, so you're right, the suppressor stuff makes more sense. I just kind of keep forgetting they exist, because so do GW. Because you can only buy them in one box.
Yeah. And, let's face it, they still don't know what they want to do.
No, I love the unit, the idea of it, but they need to be able to move and fire heavy weapons.
Yeah, well, you never know. In the new book, they might have, the boots might count as, stabilizers.
Yeah. That's all they need. I think they'd be a great wee unit.
Like what Havocs have.
And you've got
like what Havocs have for
platform.
Like what the Havocs have for Chaos. That's all they need.
Yeah. And it's only autocannons they've got. It's not like it's a game-breakingly good weapon.
Oh, and by the way, it stops Overwatch. It stops Overwatch. Ha! Who cares about Overwatch now?
Yeah, exactly. So, I think that would maybe be something nice to see. I'd like to see them revisit the suppress. But yeah, that's a bit of a detour. So yeah.
Yeah.
Primaris Thunderwolf. Do we think we'll see that?
Ooh. I don't know. Maybe. Primaris.
I think that's
Primaris Wolfen.
That's one of the big ones.
See, but then when you look at Dark Angels as well, they've got Black Knights. Would they release a Black Knight Outrider kit?
Yeah, I imagine it'll be. We think of it the moment now. Ravenwing Biker Box has a command and a black option, command option, black talent, and a normal squad option.
Yeah.
So they could easily release an Outrider, a Dark Angels Outrider kit with those options in it, and charge like 5-10 quid more for the extra sprues.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be at all surprised to see that. The really interesting thing is going to be what happens with Deathwing. There's no other first company more synonymous with Terminator armor than the Deathwing, and we know it's going.
I know.
So what are they going to do to address that?
Blade Guard just aren't enough. They do not do what Terminators do.
No, not at all. So will we see at some point? Well, there is there's heavy intercessors in the new book.
I was coming to that eventually.
Okay.
I was coming to that eventually.
Yeah. But my point is, there's stuff we haven't seen yet coming. There's a lot of stuff we haven't seen yet coming.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely terrified at how big the Space Marine Codex is going to be at this point.
Well, that's what I was going to get to as well, because it's already the biggest codex.
Yeah.
I don't even know how many entries is in it. If somebody wants to count it and let me know, please do. But is that Space Marine Codex going to include all of the chapter-specific units for those three? It's including Deathwatch. Is it going to include Deathwatch Intercessor squads, which, bearing in mind, can include aggressors, inceptors, and things like that as well? It would be interesting if you can put an Outrider in there now.
I would imagine you would be able to.
Yeah.
Unless, what they could do is, unless they are just going to stick all of the supplement stuff into that book as well, but it would be too big at that point.
Nah, they never. For the other chapters, for Black Templars, Crimson Fists, and then the 6 supplements that's already there, I think they will say use your supplement in conjunction with this codex.
Yeah,
because the supplements are still pretty new. They don't really.
I think
nothing in there
already
needs to
to buy a new
change.
Space Marine Codex this soon, so I think if they had to buy new supplements as well, there'd be riots.
Yeah, but nothing realistically. What's going to change in the Ultramarine Codex? You've got the Victrix on a guard. You've got the Sergeant Kronos, Sergeant Telemon or something for the scouts. Tiggy's not going to change. Calgar's not going to change. Victrix on a guard is not going to change. Gilliman's not going to change. The strats are going to stay the same. The Warlord traits and relics stay the same. Does not affect Ultramarines whatsoever. It's just a case of, here's your new codex with your new core units.
Yep. Here's your special stuff. Have at it.
But for the Blood Angels, the Dark Angels, and the Space Wolves, and Deathwatch, it's not that easy. So, I genuinely think that they will be the first 4 supplements to come out.
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
and
no doubt about that.
I think we will get a supplement in the style that the other 6 chapters have already got.
Yeah, 100%. I would be genuinely shocked if that wasn't the case.
Mm-hmm.
And GW have already said Deathwatch are one of the books getting an early upgrade.
Well, but does that mean that because of the Space Marine book, that because they're included in there?
I think it's both. I think they know fine that yes, that's part of it, but also they are going to have a supplement fairly quickly because they are too unique to go into the main book.
Yeah.
But with putting them in the main book, you've got a much easier starting point for what you can then do with them out with. I think.
Yeah. Let's look
at... It stops that whole, whichever Space Marine book gets released first, if the start of the edition is the worst, whichever one gets released at the end of the edition is the best.
Yeah.
Because everything's going to be the same.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, let's count up how many new units are going in this book. So...
Too many.
So how many was it in Indomitus? So we've got the new captain, right?
Yep.
The new lieutenant.
Well, I think with those two, you can maybe put aside like an exclamation mark on them because they're effectively just new war gear. There's no different armor type. It's not Phobos armor. It's not Gravis armor. It's just is it Maximus? Is that what their plate's called?
I don't know.
Whatever it is, like it's just their standard armor.
Yeah.
It's just effectively new loadout options. So maybe let them.
Like what the Plasma Pistol Power Fist dude is in comparison.
Exactly. Yeah. It's that kind of thing. And then you've obviously got the Chaplain, who's just a new model I'm so happy with that. I didn't like the old Chaplain much.
I didn't like the old one, but I'm not fussed on the new one either.
Well, I've not seen it up close yet, but I think it's just better by not being the old guy from Overwatch.
Pimp Cane.
Mm-hmm. So apart from that, though, everything's new.
Right, so you've got the Judicia, the Outriders, the Eradicators. Hang on.
Eradicators, Assault Intercessors.
Yeah, Judicia, Outriders. That's 4, right? ATV is
Blade
5.
Guard. Blade Guard Vets, Blade Guard Ancient.
Yeah.
ATV, Fire Strike.
Yeah.
Turret.
Chaplain on bike. And then the drop Hammerfall turret.
The drop thing.
That's 10, right?
Yep.
You've then got 3 versions of that new tank.
Yep. So that's 13.
Then there's the heavy intercessors that we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the heavy intercessor captain.
Is that what it was? I thought there was something else. I can't think now. I thought there was maybe something. But yeah.
So that's what, 16, 17, 18 new things?
That we know of.
That we know of.
That's insane. When I knew it was a lot.
On top of everything that's in there.
Honestly, can we just kill normal Marines off in this book? Because it's getting too big.
People would rage, right? But the size of this book is going to be insane.
Just get it done. Everyone knows it's happening now. Just
the Primaris Tech Marine.
Yeah, there we go. I think for this book, you could just say, this is the book. If you want to use old stuff, you've got the old Codex. It's still valid for this edition. Whatever.
Yeah. And the land speeder that they haven't showed off either.
Yep.
So there's like 18. Yeah. That's insane.
I doubt that's everything. You've also got to think as well, the heavy intercessors, will that be the only thing that kit makes?
True. Unless like the intercessor
like a
kit.
Fuel box with Eradicators and heavy intercessors in the same kit?
No, Eradicators are Gravis armor.
Are the heavy intercessors not Gravis armor?
No.
Okay, I've just seen a really blurry image. I'm not a proper around for it.
They've got the pipes and the chunky feet.
Right, I tend to just go by the feet.
But they haven't got the big bulky chest and the giant shoulder pads.
Okay, so it's like a mishmash of the two sets.
Yeah. So they might have Stalker bolt rifles and be able to move and fire without penalty.
Yeah.
Or they might be allowed to Overwatch without using the strategy.
Twice, or they can fire twice if they want to just, do something like that. They can rapid fire them or something.
Exactly.
Interesting, yeah. And if they're going to be troops, which you have to assume they're going to be, just because they've got the intercessor line in them, that's what, 5 Primaris troop choices they would have?
Mm-hmm.
That's quite a lot. From 2 troop choices with non-Primaris.
Yeah,
5.
But let's face it, right? Scouts are probably going to go because you've got infiltrators, you've got reavers, you've got incursors.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to go.
Yeah, definitely.
And then tactical marines are going to go.
Yeah. Then you've got intercessors, assault intercessors, maybe heavy intercessors, infiltrators, and incursors.
Mm-hmm.
That's just so much options.
And we haven't even talked about everything that added to the Necron Codex.
No.
So I mean, what have they got that we've seen? So the new monolith, which just replaces the old one, which is a beautiful model, by the way. You've got the Shard of the Void Dragon.
The old one's really not great.
You've got the Shard of the Void Dragon. You've got the Silent King. You've got the new Doomwalker. You've got the new what they're called, the Destroyers. You'll be adding the Scorpec Destroyers, the Destroyer Lord, the Plasmancer, the Royal Warden. There'll be other
Scenery?
things.
They've got
Them scenery pieces, yeah. There's still a model that is hiding behind the monolith in that picture that they haven't shown off either.
I was going to say, there's still that. We've seen the Reeboks. We've seen the
the Praetorians. Yeah.
Nice. I really like the new design of the boxes.
Absolutely, looks so cool. What I don't like is the instructions with them little symbols.
Oh god, no, that can get in the bin.
But, hear me out here. I think the reason they've done that is so that they don't have to print it several times over into a booklet for different languages.
Yeah, no, if that's the only reason, I'm fine with that. I was under the impression it was moving to that full time.
No, I don't think so. I wouldn't imagine so.
If those aren't in like the Edge of Silence book and that in Indominus where the rules are, I think
they're not
okay. And the fact it's not any of those leaks actually that we've seen, so we're fine. Yeah.
I think it's literally for the assembly.
But
I think it's literally for the assembly instructions, so they don't have to print the same one several times over for different languages.
Yeah. It's funny, because I've got the. What have I got here? I've got the instructions for the Savage Orcs.
And how many times is that data slate repeated?
Well, the unit has 4 data slates for a start out of that box, and each one's a full page with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different languages written in it.
Yeah.
It is funny because I go back and look at them and how bad more boys are compared to what they are now. They were just they 2 attacks, well, the 2 profiles before, each with 1 attack in it. Now they've combined that into 1 profile and they have 3 attacks and 4 in a bigger unit. They just did nothing before.
Yeah.
They could like ride a monster and it would maybe die if you were very lucky. But no. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's it.
So that brings us to the end of the podcast. I hope certainly by the next one that we do, Grant, that we at least know what's happening in relation to Sigmar releases by the end of August.
Yeah, it would be good. I mean, I'm still going to hold out hope we see Giants before Lumineth.
I would absolutely love to see them before Lumineth. I would love to.
I think it's going to be a pretty poor move by GW if we don't. Yeah. And it just further reinforces GW's love of elves, and elves are awful, and we don't need any more elves in the game.
No. Well, unless it's Malarian. Did you see the leak today? Or the rumour mill picture?
Oh, yeah, the
spiked axe. The spiked halberd.
Elves. I just don't want to see elves. Especially when the new stone elves move 4 inches and have hammers. I'm sorry, that's a dwarf. Like, you've just made a dwarf tall. Like, the elves just can't compete with dwarves, so they've had to go, right, we're going to make our new unit dwarves. On stilts. That's what it is.
Right, well that's it for the podcast, folks. Remember, if you would like to take part, you can become a Patreon or a YouTube member. Get in touch with me otherwise. But yeah, otherwise, thank you very much to Grant for joining me.
No
and remember to follow us on Twitch, guys, so you can hang out with us after recording the podcasts, and of course before as well, where we like to chat to the folks that we can't always acknowledge during the recording. But nevertheless, thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you again very soon.